Hello and welcome to my presentation on sustainable transportation infrastructure in Perry Heights, Ohio, and how to create a more equitable future for people in our township. First and foremost, we must visit our community sustainability goals document that I have presented to you guys before. Perry Township itself has long suffered at the hands of degrading infrastructure and dilapidated roadways. Ohio has a sustainability problem that is made worse by public leaders' inaction. And therefore, through our Sustainability Goals Initiative, Perry should pursue further additions to sustainable infrastructure. In conjunction with Stark County, we should most definitely increase uh, our bus route frequency as well as the number of bus routes there are. We should also work on addressing inequality that has addressed every household in Perry Township. We also must address walkability, and per the UN sustainability goals, we must pursue increased sustainable infrastructure in communities that emphasize justice, accountability, and happiness. Perry Township faces a litany of sustainable mobility challenges, from walkability issues to shortage of buses and to major congestion on roadways. First and foremost, through an analysis of zoning, Perry Township falls behind in three major areas. Through its congestion, major roadways experience congestion during rush hours and school days. For example, during school days from 6:30 a.m. to around 8:30 a.m., roadways such as Genoa Avenue and State Route 172 experience 20-mile-per-hour zones in which congestion and roadway backups are experienced much more at higher rates. State Route 172 also holds the record for the worst intersection in the county. Perry Drive and State Route 172 have one of the highest incidents of road death and injury in the county. Rectifying this issue is of utmost importance. Furthermore, Perry Township faces immobility issues because of bus routes only extending through State Route 172. That is the only bus route through the entire township, and the bus routes are not always available. For example, they close on Sundays. They do not run on Sundays. Furthermore, the times are arbitrary, buses never arrive on time, service is service is not uh, accountable, and fares are not free. Thirdly, the walkability in Perry Township is disgusting, because chiefly due to high gas prices in 2022 and the need for cars in the county due to the fact that are very little sidewalks. It is almost impossible for anybody to walk the length of the township without being in a dangerous situation due to no sidewalks or dilapidated sidewalks itself. And for people with wheelchairs, walking through the county, riding through the county is absolutely impossible. The first and most important proposal I bring to this board is to maximize coverage in Perry Township. Through extended ridership programs, tax incentives, and showing off new bus technologies, we can bring people together from all walks of life. Right now, those who use cars in the roadways are disconnected and don't know each other. The township has little green or communal space to offer, and bringing in a maximum coverage approach will mold SARTA into the equitable transportation pathway it was always envisioned to be. We must ensure fares are free by lobbying state, local, and federal government money pools to appreciate our idea, as well as taxing new businesses who build large parking lots and attract large amounts of car traffic. This also ensures our services reach the neighborhoods to the north and south, extending bus lanes to accommodate more buses as well, and encouraging people to bus to their destinations by providing new and cool benefits every time they ride. Remember, we have to make sure people actually want to get on the buses. We don't have to use these gimmicks like tax incentives and uh, free ridership after your fifth ride every month. This has to be an equitable, universal, and achievable solution. Each school day in Perry Township, the 46 school buses transport 5,055 students to and from 23 buildings, traveling 1,734 miles. They take routes in residential neighborhoods, apartment complexes, country roads, and much more. The flexibility these buses have with less resources than something like SARTA means this isn't an impossible undertaking. Purchasing additional clean energy buses, purchasing buses based on route choice, depending on if you want a larger bus or a short bus, and creating flex routes will bring in more riders at a greater coverage potential. People will not have to shell out $50 every 5 days to fuel their vehicles, and they can begin to know their community members. This localized approach opposes larger projects like bus rapid transit due to the fact that Perry Township and Stark County do not have a sizable enough population to necessitate such an undertaking. Increasing routes throughout the entire township will mean everybody has the ability to get where they need to go. It is a more equitable approach that falls in line with the United Nations Sustainability Goals approach. It will almost be impossible to attract new riders through new bus routes if the sidewalks used by passengers are run down and dilapidated. We must ensure that all major roadways, State Route 172, Perry Drive, Genoa Avenue, Whipple Avenue, 12th Street, Jackson Avenue, and Woodlawn Avenue are tenable, attractive, and adequately maintained. This also means that the businesses we accept along these routes are attractive and conducive to the community's needs. Perry Township's infamous Auto Mile has been an eyesore for decades and is a long stretch of sidewalk that is extremely difficult to walk through. Intersections are surrounded by new and used cars, making crossing State Route 172 and side streets immensely difficult and dangerous for any pedestrian, let alone those with disabilities. Bringing in safety apparatuses like those on college campuses will also attract riders and people who simply cannot afford to use a car. Taking inspiration from nearby Jackson Township and its commercial district, Perry ought to utilize eminent domain and force the car dealerships out or simply relocate them, building dense shops, green and communal spaces, as well as larger air-conditioned bus stations. Consulting disability advocates, however, and disability advocate groups, and those with disabilities should be the first priority before developing any solid plan for this issue. Unlike larger cities and communities, Perry Township does not experience backbreaking congestion that completely immobilizes the community. Unfortunately, this trend will not last for long, as traffic wait times during school days and rush hour are only getting longer. As more drivers get on the road, this problem only gets worse. As per the Federal Highway Administration, there were 4 million new drivers on the road in 2019 in Ohio. Expect this number to increase year by year by year. Solutions automakers like GM and Ford and people like Elon Musk with Tesla want us to believe is that if we can support them in their autonomous electric vehicle goals, congestion will be a thing of the past. Unfortunately, this is not the case. Like creating more lanes and on highways to solve congestion problems, keeping cars and allowing their numbers to proliferate will only make this issue much worse. My plan to push for a broader public transit system will help mitigate this issue by pushing travelers to forego their cars and ride on the litany of new buses, be it of SARTA or a completely new Perry Township bus system if SARTA does not want to cooperate or if they do not have the funds. Getting cars off the road will not only increase mobility and decrease congestion, but it will make transportation much safer, allowing us to safely construct a new intersection system at State Route 172 and Perry Drive, making the traveling in Perry Township that much safer. Instead of trying to attract these new companies like Tesla and emboldening the hold automakers like GM, Ford, Kia, and Nissan have in the community, we should work to eradicate their existence altogether. Bringing in increased revenue to fund these projects is paramount, and taxing and redistributing funds from these car dealerships in conjunction with subsidized funding will bring everything together. Pushback against these initiatives will be tough, but consulting advocate groups and bringing in support from organizations like the ACLU and heightening the project with national media attention should work in our favor, with your support, of course. With cars, we have seen nothing but death, destruction, and congestion. Walkability is hampered. People are struck on roadways, and funds that should be sent to repair the sidewalks that our community needs and the ramps our community members need are instead used to repair constantly damaged roads from cars. Potholes, potholes, potholes. Instead of complaining about them, maybe we should just get rid of the cars in the first place. This solution is not easy. It will never be easy, but it is absolutely necessary. Demanding that automakers loosen their grip on our communities is the first key step in building an equitable future and building public transit and creating walkability in our community. The right thing to do is never the most obvious. We must challenge our conceptions of mobility and walkability and public transit and cars and work toward the future we all deserve. Not just for those who have the capital to stay above the water when the oceans reach our streets.